Hey, what's going on, y'all? So in this video, I wanted to quickly show you how to, or at least as quick as possible, show you how to actually go about trading meme coins and the best practices when looking for them, when to enter a trade, when it's the best time to get out, and just things like that. Because there's a lot of ways that you can lose your money meme coin trading. It is so you can lose it so fast, like literally in a matter of seconds, truly. But more realistically, in a matter of 10 minutes, which is still not that long of a time. But if you don't really know what you're looking at, then you will most likely fail and lose all your money. So let's get right into it. So right here, this is usually the setup that I have on my main monitor. I'll have Memescope, which I'll get into in a second, as well as some coin that I'm looking at. This one is an obvious scam, and this tool I mentioned in my last video helps you identify that. So if you wanted to get a little bit more information, you can check out that video as well, but I'll be going over some of this stuff in this video. And then in my off monitor, I have Twitter, and I'm in a couple of Discords that mention tweets whenever they happen from people in the crypto community. Obviously, I'm not following everybody in the crypto community on Twitter. That would just be an insane amount of stuff. So I'm in some free Discord. I don't pay for any things like that. So I just use whatever's free. Anyways. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do, go to the link down in the description. It's going to link you over to Photon. That is going to be this platform right here. And this is basically going to be your bread and butter. There's plenty of other programs that you can use as well. There's one called GMGN or GNGM, something like that. And then there's another one called BullX. I just been using Photon, no particular reason, but it's just what I've been using, and I've been having a pretty decent amount of success since I've been using it. So, all right. So this is going to be Photon. Whenever you first come to this page, you're going to be greeted with a screen like this, and there's going to be a button right here saying Connect Wallet. You're basically going to connect your Solana wallet. It could be from Solflare, it could be Phantom, whatever wallet you use for Solana, because this is going to be strictly Solana based. So you'll do that, you'll then connect it, you'll go through the site, and then Photon will actually create their own wallet for you, which you would then transfer funds from your Phantom, Solflare, whatever wallet to the Phantom wallet to be traded with. After you do that, you'll be in a page like this. So this is going to be basically the home page that's going to have your new pairs. Now, I don't really like trading like this. I go straight for the Memescope because I think it has one of the best formats. Now, I have my filters set relatively loose, but I do have filters because there's some coins that I just don't want to see, and I want to see some coins in certain areas. So let's go ahead and go over this. I mentioned this a bit in my other video, but I'm going to mention it again now. So we're going to have newly created, which is very obvious. They're tokens that are newly created. They're going to be about to graduate, and that means once these tokens reach 95K market cap, they're going to migrate over to Radium, which is another DEX, where they can potentially have more people buy into the coin, right? It's just more money over there. And on top of that, it gets its own liquidity pool. The liquidity pool from Pump.Fund or whatever it is. Specifically, we're talking about Pump.Fund, not Moonshot, but Pump.Fund gets locked, and then a new one gets created with it at Radium. So it's very good to know. And then graduated are going to be coins that migrated over to Radium. Now, over in my newly created, I have the least amount of filters. I have Pump, at least one social, and the dev is only holding a maximum of 15%. That by itself is like super, super high, but you never know. I've seen some that have pumped, to millions with the dev holding a pretty heavy bag like that, but usually the dev ends up selling along the way, and I guess that kind of relieves pressure for all the buyers. Now, for the about to graduate, I have it set for Pump as well, at least one social. The age I want to be 30 minutes maximum. I don't want to see any hour longs. This is just how I'm trading, how I'm going about looking for them. Sometimes these coins pump, after 30 minutes, they pump into like an hour into it. But I'm not trading like that currently. This is just my specific way and how I've had success. And then finally, we got about 200 transactions, right? We want the coin to be active in this area where obviously newly created, it's not going to be active. And if you have 200, transactions already, it's most likely, just a bunch of sniper bots, just a bunch of bots in general, and you're pretty much going to get screwed over there. And finally, in the graduated, have some more filters, pump and social as well. But I also have the age set to 10 because I don't want to look at any old ones in the graduated. I want to be able to see the new ones that are immediately going to graduated right when they happen. And when you have too many in graduated, you could kind of get lost in the sauce. And the way that I go about my strategy, it doesn't work. It's like not doing it like this. So, all right, so here we go. So for newly created, it's relatively difficult, right? Because you're getting new ones all the time. So you would want to just check this one out. This one has 11K market cap. So kind of want to see immediately a scam, right? So a quick rug pull. And I want to say probably like 95% of all the newly createds are going to be like that. But the newly createds will give you the best shot at 100x, like without a doubt, the best shot at 100x because you're getting it essentially at the lowest market cap you can possibly get it. Now, these are 100% going to be the riskier plays. I think you will lose most of your money trading like this, but there's a way to mitigate a lot of your loss by understanding, what coins actually have the ability to blow up. So the first thing that you want to look at is originality, right? So this one right here, Nikita, just popped up. Did it let me click on it? I did let me click on it. Cool. So it looks like there's a bit of motion. There's a dev buy. There is a sniper buy here. So that's interesting. They're both at the exact same. So this is probably some type of insider. So you should be pretty scared about that. If we scroll down here, we can see the top 10 holders. So there's 21%. This is kind of a typical number. I've seen a lot of coins blow up from that. So right now, it looks like we have a little bit of motion. We got about 16 holders and increasing. So it's not too bad, honestly. Like this could be a good place to buy. But again, I don't really trade like this too often. And we see that we have the dev sold. So usually when the dev sells, the sniper bot also like sold right behind it. And the coin is essentially dead at this point. If we go ahead and look at the holders, we can see that they're probably going to slowly trickle off or maybe not. Most likely though, yeah, they're going to trickle off. And you can see by this icon right here, it can identify the sniper bot. So it's going to be the bot that immediately snipes when the dev releases the coin. So this could literally just be some random person with a sniper bot, literally, or it could be the dev with an insider. Usually the insiders are tagged something different, but you never really know. This is all software, right? So it's not right all the time, but it's right most of the time. That's why you need to be trading like this. Otherwise, you will get screwed over. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the ticker right here, Nikita, and I'm going to check its originality. So we can see that there's one there. There's another one here. Another one here. So it seems like it could be the original. This one came out 2 hours ago. So I guess this one's technically the original. But this one doesn't really look like it went anywhere. But we can go ahead and check out the chart. Seemed like it had way more of a pump. Actually almost went somewhere. Almost hit migration. But ultimately dumped all the way down. Now, this could have been, legit, right? And there's a website here. So the top right, you'll see Twitter, a website, and Telegram. This one doesn't have a Telegram, just the Twitter and the website. So if we click that right here, you can see that we got nothing. So looks like they pretty much destroyed the website. We checked the X or the Twitter. It's probably gone as well. Oh, nope, it's still here. But there's not really anything happening. So usually what scammers will do is they'll just constantly recycle the name and recycle the Twitter name, since you could just kind of change that pretty much every day or every couple of days. I can't remember specifically, but you are able to change that. So that's usually what these devs do, or they just make brand new Twitter accounts. They have Twitter bots, things like that. So definitely have to be careful with this. Now, this right here, it was actually an interesting coin that I did make a little bit of money from. Now I want to show you kind of what happens in the meme space, the Memecoin space, which you have to be aware of, but sometimes it's fruitful, right? So in this one, we have this one called Solnet. You see it has its socials, it has its Telegram, it has the website. If you go to the website, it's going to be this crazy website. Honestly, really cool. When you actually like go into it, starts playing this kind of crazy song. It's an interesting website, right? I'm not going to get into it pretty heavy here in this video, but you can check it out if you want to. But what also happens a lot in the meme space is copycats. So there's going to be a lot of devs that are just going to create the exact same coin that they saw become successful. So this right here is actually a copy. It's a copy of this one. Now, this one's down in the dumps, and I did make, a little profit here. As you can see down here, I also took a pretty bad profit here. This one got me good. This was a pretty hard to tell scam. And I can show you that loss there. I'm not afraid to show my losses here, but this one actually shot up to, $1 million, right? A couple times. And I actually bought somewhere around here and sold, realistically, it was somewhere around here. I bought down here where the blue line is, and I sold somewhere in this range right there. So made just a little bit, but this was a test because I got this one pretty late. So I was waiting for a pretty significant dip. So if you look down over here, this is actually when migration happened. So this one blew up extremely hard. It's kind of hard to predict how much it's going to blow up, but using the socials is going to be able to help you with that, right? So if we look at right here, it hit migration. And normally what would happen whenever these coins hit migration is they'll shoot up like this, and then they'll immediately dump down halfway or to at least the low from when it shot up to migration. This one, literally, when I saw it migrate, kept going, and it literally kept going all the way up to $1 million. It was an absolutely insane thing that was impossible to predict. I don't think anybody could have predicted that. The website it's cool, it's unique, it's very quirky. There's a lot of things going on, so maybe people saw the potential there, like in the meme of it. So I decided I kind of wanted to get in here. I tried to get in a buy around this area, but the buy wouldn't go through. And I can kind of show you my settings right now. My settings are more safe. I don't want to be super risk adverse again, because you can lose money so fast when trading these meme coins. So I waited again for another dip. I saw it rise up here, and then I saw a pretty big bar as well. So I was assuming it was going to dump a bit harder. It turned out not, but I ended up buying somewhere around here. So it turned out all right. And like I said, I ended up selling somewhere in this range. So just made a quick little 30%, not too bad. And now you can see how fast these coins die. So the lifespan of these meme coins, even if they're top tier, normally don't last that long. Things like Peanut, things like Chill Guy, those are anomalies, and those are the few and far in between, right? Those are things that nobody can ever really predict. But narrative definitely plays a huge role in boosting those things to the status that they're at, right? Like just like Chill Guys everywhere. The Peanut was a crazy anomaly, but it was based on real events. So these are things you have to keep in mind when picking coins. Now, if we go and look at the copycat, we see that it did really well. So it hit migration as well. This one dumped just a little bit and then immediately skyrocketed up. But if you were to just buy this one simply, somewhere down here right after the dev sold, which is usually sometimes, I'm not gonna say usually, but sometimes a pretty good place to buy, because a lot of these meme coins lately, once the dev sells, that kind of gives the community confidence. And that's what causes these community takeovers, not all the time, but usually generally in these quick coin flips like this, is then they're like, okay, so I'm not worried about getting dumped on. You would then check, how many of the top holders own a bag. This one's kind of high, but then you would basically measure out your risk from there. So you could pop a little bit of something in there, say 0.1 Solana, right? This is at 9K, 0.1 Solana. That's not too much. If that's a lot to you, then you need to probably build up your capital a little bit more before kind of getting into this, because you can lose that very, very fast. And that's something I want to emphasize more, in this video. I can't emphasize enough. You can lose your money very fast. But anyway, let's go back to that scenario. So you buy here at 10K, right when the dev sold, and then you're kind of, all bets are off the table. It could go up a little bit. You could lose some. You're not likely to lose all of it. You might lose half. So your risk is at the lowest whenever the dev sells and you buy that dip, right? So then you buy the dip, and then anything can happen. So in this case, it was a little bit slow, and then hard push. You always have some resistance on the push because people want to get their gains. I mean, look, this is a 3x just from here. Just from here, this is a 3x. So people took their profits, and that's fine. This is going to be how it is. And then once that dip happened, people quickly bought, and it pretty much shot right here. This was when it hit migration. So then it hit migration, shot up just a wee bit. I guess we can zoom just a little bit more. And dipped down, and then ultimately rocketed, right? And so then from here to, I guess we can measure some median. We'll just say it's at 300K. So 10K to 300K, obviously that's a 30x. So if you only had 0.1 Solana, you would literally leave with 3 Solana. That's game changing, right? And if you were a little bit more riskier on the riskier side and you put 1 Solana, well, you just made 30 Solana. That is not life changing, but that changes everything in the way that you could go about trading. You could be a little more risk adverse. You can save half of that. Now you have 15 Solana to trade with. So it's all about understanding what is going on. So in this case, this thing blew up, like I said, to 1 million. Go back to it really quickly. This thing blew up all the way up to 1 million. Or, oh, this is the old one. One more forward. Yeah, there we go. So, some copycat dev out there decided, hey, let's recreate that. And this was relatively soon. So they went ahead and created it and got some pretty decent results. Now, obviously it wasn't to the level of the other one, but I mean, it was nonetheless pretty high result. So you do have to be careful with these, right? Because a lot of times these will be scams. In this case, this might have been a scam. Like I said, the dev he sold pretty early, but this is usually what ends up happening. The devs will sell. But if, at the end of the day, it does have potential. He used all the same socials, so it goes to the same website and all things like that. So it still ended up doing really well. And that's not to mention, right? If you would have bought the real one at 10K and it went to 1 million, I mean, that's actually life-changing money. You know what I mean? So these are things that you have to look for. These are things that you have to understand because, again, a lot of these copycats are scams. So understanding which ones have already run their course, which ones have came out, you can maybe try to get in if it is looking good on a second one, but usually all of them after that are terrible. They're just not gonna go anywhere. And that's something you definitely need to understand when trading these meme coins. This right here is another pretty simple example of a scam. Don't fall for these. These will dump every single time, and it makes it pretty obvious, right? We saw it right here. It's the good old field goal. So don't fall for these. Wet cat, it's a wild symbol there. See what we got. And again, we got another scam. This one's a bit more obvious. You can see all the insider buy bots, which is what that is. Let's look at this one, Dark Fun. All right, so right here, Dark Fun. This one is looking like a pretty legit coin so far. So 77, dev bought 153, sold 77 million, and bought some more right here at the top. So looks like it has a little bit of motion. It's nothing super crazy. But what we're going to look at is the holders, right? So there's 79 holders. That's a little bit low. It's a little bit low from what I've seen before they push up. Now, if this gets up into the hundreds, especially the 110s, this could 100% migrate. So before we just buy in like a freaking idiot, let's go ahead and do a little bit more analysis. So Dark Fun. Okay, Dark Fun, let's check it out. Has Dark Fun been done before? Dark Fun has been done 15 minutes ago, 14 minutes ago, and there's some other ones that aren't the exact same. So let's go ahead and check out this 15-minute ago one. This one looked to be, pretty hard pump, and then the dev ended up barely selling for profit. Let's go ahead and look at the 14-minute one. You got to be really quick on this one. And that was just an insta scam. Okay, so this one actually has some motion. 76 holders, so we're losing holders. We're not really gaining much. The volume is starting to kind of teeter. So this is when you have to, you have to be really risk adverse. But if we're going to be smart here, this is probably something I won't get into. I mean, I would tell you right now, this is something I won't get into. The volume is starting to dwindle, which is going to cause a lot of, pressure. It's going to cause a lot of sell pressure for most people. And that's when you're going to start to see some fatigue. But here we go. We're picking up a little bit more. We jumped up about 5 holders here. Now we're up to 50K. Again, the goal is going to be 95K. So you're going to always see a lot of resistance unless you see a huge influx of holders coming in. So that's why the holders number is really important. Don't necessarily just focus on the candles. Focus on if the holders are increasing. Now let's go ahead and check down here. We got 34% of the supply in the hands of the top 10 holders. That is a little bit risky, so it's something to definitely keep in mind of. So while this is going and I'm deciding whether or not I'll throw anything in here, let me go ahead and show you what my settings look like for my buy. Now, this is where you're going to be buying these coins. It's going to be on this right side, and you're going to have a simple buy tab and a sell tab. So your buy is going to be linked directly to your wallet, and your sell sometimes bugs out like this. So make sure you link it to your wallet. And from here, this is where you're going to have your quick selections. You can go ahead and change all of this in the settings. We can see this coin's kind of moving now. So it's definitely something to keep my eyes on. Maybe a big dip might throw a little bit of something in there. See what happens. But anyways, so I currently have these presets selected. These are the most common ones that I end up using. And some of these are like the default, right? So you can also choose to put a custom amount right here, but I highly, highly recommend that you make your own presets. It's just a lot faster and a lot easier than just having to type it in every single time. Now I have my slippage set. This is a good little drop. I might throw something in there. Let's see. The dev still kind of has a big bag. Oh, it's dumping pretty hard. Yeah, the dev owns a lot. It's dumping pretty hard. The dev might also dump. This one might be dead in the water. That's why you gotta be patient. You can't always just quickly buy the dip. This right here is making me not want to get the coin because that's a pretty big bag that the dev still has. So I think just this big bag alone will allow this to not, or will make it not pump all the way to where it could. I could be wrong, obviously, but this is just what I've seen. So I'm going to probably not get into this. But anyways, let's get back here. So over in the advanced settings, and again, you can do all this in the settings to make it permanent. So I would advise doing that. But you can simply do that going here and then go over to settings. And then in settings, you'll have these same things, right? But I want to also look at this chart. So we're gonna do it from here. So advanced settings, I have my slippage set to 25. Now that seems relatively high, but again, slippage is going to be is 25% above or below where you're trying to buy it. And you want to have a decently sized slippage because some of these coins move a lot. And if they do end up moving, really low, really fast, and then you buy, 25 or 26%, above that, then it's not actually going to fulfill your order. So you want something that's going to almost guarantee a fill. Next, I have my priority fees pretty much to the lowest you possibly can. This is one place where a lot of newbies kind of get eaten up because they'll trade with really, really low amounts of Solana, something like 0.01, and that will simply get eaten up instantaneously. So like your 5% profits end up being negatives, especially when you count your slippage, right? So if you're going to get into these meme coin trades, I would recommend starting with 0.1. That I think is going to be the lowest that you should be trading these with, because that's going to give you the most advantage and you will not get eaten up by the fees. Now, these fees will help your transaction go through, but honestly, the way I've had these settings, I've had pretty much zero issues getting my transaction to go through. And the biggest thing, like I said, is just getting it to go through, and the slippage helps with that a lot. So once you have it all locked in, you would pick what you want, pick the place you would want to buy. Say it went on a dip, you would click your selection and then quick buy. Now, once you're in, then you got to get ready to sell. So immediately go over to the sell tab. Make sure your wallet's connected again, because sometimes it bugs out. Make sure you're connected. And then you will have three quick sell options. So 50, 80, and 100. Originally, this is 50, 70, and 100, but I changed this to 80 because sometimes I would want to sell before the migration happens, which is just another strategy you can use. And then where I would sell 80%, which would basically give me most of, my profit there. And then the 20% I'll let ride in case it just tanks, because that does end up happening sometimes. And then obviously you can sell 100. So you just pick your option here, and then you can do a custom sell as well. Now over here in the advanced settings, we have slippage set to 50. You might think that's insane. Actually might even increase this to 60. I've been okay so far, but we'll see going forward. 50 is just going to ensure that if that thing spikes up fast, like high, like in the good scenario, that you want the order to fulfill no matter what. So that 50% slippage will give you a 50%, pretty much a 50% jump in price, and will also cover you in case you're trying to sell quickly from a 50% dip from the position you're trying to get into or get out of. So it's really, really important to know. It looks like this one's moving, man. So might have some movement here. The holders are still kind of low. That's why this one's kind of weird. It's kind of sketchy to me. Anyways, got my priority fees set the same. And this I just realized I didn't talk about. This might be a good buy opportunity. I'm not sure, man. The dev having such a big bag is what's bothering me. This is what makes me not want to get in, and I feel like you're just gonna rug it. Anyways, I didn't talk about this. So smart MEF protection. This is basically going to protect you from bots front running your orders, and it's pretty much like how that says, front running. So when you buy, basically when you buy, a bot could buy right before you and pretty much make you take the higher buy, and you don't want that, right? So I have this set to secure, which is turning it on my buy, but on the sell, that doesn't really happen often. Not saying that it can't happen, but it's pretty unlikely for it to happen. So I just have this set to fast, which will make sure that my sell goes through as fast as possible. Really, really important. And technically in these fees right here, you can basically set these to 0, but I just have these the same just to give me that little tiny boost to make sure that my sell goes through. Now, all right, so the last little few things I will talk about before I end this video is things that you might already know, but mint authority is just going to be the ability for the dev to basically mint or create new tokens. Always make sure this is disabled. By default, pump fund tokens will have this and freeze this authority disabled, which freeze is literally just being able to freeze the contract, and the LP 100% burned. That is just going to be a perk of pump fund as well. So really, really important. That's why it's pretty easy to be able to, not get into scams all the time within these pump fund tokens. This is why I focus on them the most. So yeah, if I wanted to basically monitor this coin, I would basically just duplicate the tab, drag it over to my other window, and now I can monitor that one while I go over to here and look at the rest. So this turkey one graduated. It's already at 290 market cap, and it looks like it went even higher before. This one has been going absolutely crazy, and this was in the last 10 minutes, guys. So that is a pretty insane run. I mean, this was literally 5 minutes ago or 8 minutes ago. And you can see like the money that you could be making from these is truly life-changing. You just have to be able to understand what coins will pump and what coins won't, and understand which are scams. And I hope in this video, I helped you kind of identify that, or at least give you some sort of tool to be able to fight through these trenches, because I'm telling you, it is a scary place out here, and people do not play games. You will lose your money so fast. So please be very safe. Do not, use any money that you can't lose. Just be careful, man. It like you can have all this knowledge, but you will still end up losing. Like I said, this one right here, I was actually going to show you. I lost a lot. I lost, 85%. I only used 0.1 Solana, so it's not super big of a deal, but I pretty much got rugged, right? So I didn't realize, and this is another thing you have to look every single time, like I showed you in the beginning, how much the dev bought. So he bought 20 million and he sold 20 million. But the crazy part was that he still sold another 401 million. Now essentially what ended up happening here was something when I looked at it, I didn't look at it close enough. The top 10 holders was a bit higher than normal. And in the top traders, or in the holders rather, there was a couple holders that had really big bags. Now, what ended up happening during this kind of idle session was some of those other holders were really just him with bigger bags, and he basically sent them over to his dev wallet and just dumped a ton, right? So he made a lot of money, right? He made a pretty nice stack of 13K, and I pretty much lost, right? So I tried to sell somewhere in here, but it was just such a big dump that it ended up queuing right here. Again, 50%. It does as best it can, but doesn't always go exactly where you want to. It's just the way the game is, man. So yeah, ended up losing a good bit right here. Definitely was in a risky play. I didn't buy up here. I bought it at this line. It just kind of shows you what second you bought on. And I was kind of assuming I was trying to buy down on this dip, but it bought really early. So this right here would have been a good play, a 55K, up to somewhere here, 68K. I was already kind of sketched out with this coin, so I probably would have just ended up selling here, which is what a couple people did. Then it rose up again, and I was thinking about actually just selling right here, because right here I was in just like a little bit of profit, just a wee bit of profit, and I was already pretty sketched out. But I decided to hang on for just a little bit more. It started kind of coming back pretty naturally, and then it just dipped. So this right here is just a reality of Memecoin trading and the potential, negative and horrible, horrific side of it. So this is something I definitely want to just kind of end the video on, just letting you all know and just being aware of something like this. This can happen to you very quick. This was literally from 0.1 sol to 0.01 sol in a matter of literally 1 second. Right? These were in the seconds right now, and this was literally 1 second. So, all right, guys, if y'all enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below. Subscribe if you enjoy these videos and you want to see more, or if you want to see some live trading. I also thought about doing that as well, making some live videos. So anyways, guys, see you on the next video.